So in this video, we'll be talking about using images on your website. What I do not want you to do is just to go onto the web and use any old images that you find there on your own website, because that may be violating copyright. To understand the issues here, you can look on this gov.uk website, which has useful information about using images and photographs on the web. This answers, if you click onto the PDF, it answers a lot of the really basic questions here that you might have, such as, are images subject to copyright that you find on the web? Well, yes, they are. Does it matter if there's not a copyright notice by the image? Well, no, it doesn't matter. You assume that the image is under copyright. And can you just use images that you find? Well, no, you can't. There are exceptions. There's a section here that says, is permission always required to copy or use an image? In here, it does talk about exceptions for using images in private study and for private research. These exceptions do not count for this project because you are publishing stuff directly to New MySpace, so stuff is publicly accessible on the web. So if you take other people's images without permission, you'll be violating their copyrights. Now that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using images on the website. One thing that you can do is use images that you have taken yourself, so photos that you've taken yourself, because you will be the copyright owner of those images. Another thing you could do is just to actually search for images where there is permission to use these, to reuse these. For example, say you wanted to do a website on your favorite pop star here, you might do a Google image search. So lots of images here that are available. What you shouldn't be doing at this point is just clicking on an image you're seeing, and even though this is possible, you can copy the image, you can do a save as. You can't assume that this image here is not subject to copyright. You assume that it's either owned by this website or by the photographer. But what I can do in Google image search is here, if I click on Tools, I then get this submenu here, and I can click on Usage Rights. And in there, you'll see that the default is not filtered by license. But beneath that, I can do different searches by license. I can do a search for images that are labeled for reuse with modification, which simply means that these are images that can be reused on other websites even if you change them. Beneath this one is just for reuse, so that's for images that you can't modify but you can still reuse. There's one here for non-commercial reuse with modification and one for non-commercial without. This one at the top will be the most permissive, so it would always be sort of a good one to start with. If I click that, you'll see that I get some different images here. These will be the images that are labeled for reuse. You'll see that a lot of times you get images that come from Wikipedia or Wikimedia here. And if you click on these, you'll actually need to visit the website there. But if you come through and on Wikimedia, what you can do is you get the image. If you scroll down, you'll also see here that you've got this permission section, and you'll see here something that's very common is that there will be a Creative Commons license license for the image, and a description of what that license allows you to do. So here you're free to share, redistribute, remix as much as you want under the following conditions: attribution. So this means you can use this image on your website as long as you meet this condition here. So images like that, please do feel free to use them within the bounds of that license. That's an example from Wikimedia. I think there are some other examples available here as well. I'm just trying to think. This one here on Flickr. Flickr also has many images on it that have often a Creative Commons license on there for reuse. So this one here, I think on Flickr, if we just look over to the right, we can see the license information, some rights reserved. You can click on that to find out more details. Again, it's a Creative Commons license, and it sets out here what you can do and the conditions under which you can do that. So if you do want to use other people's images, please do look for images that have a license like this on them. You do have some other options, particularly if you're looking for quite sort of generic images that might look quite nice on your website. There are sites such as this one, Unsplash. This is just one example. There are several others as well. And this is a site that is there specifically to provide beautiful free images for you to use in your project. These tend to be stock photos. So if you're looking for stuff of your favorite pop star, well, you're unlikely to find them on here. But if you're looking for a nice landscape or a nice food photo or something, you're likely to find it. If you wanted to find photographs of New York, I'm sure one's come up. You can click on them on this website, and then if you click the download button here, you'll see here it gives you this message: crediting isn't required, but is appreciated. And then it will give you an example of how to credit the photographer should you choose to. When you do your project, something I do want you to talk about in the 500 words that you need to sort of discuss your design, I do want you to mention in there about whether the images are your own or where you got them from and under what license you're using them. That's something I will be checking.